Hey guys, today's video is going to be kind of short and to the point. I'm going to show you how to set up the VisuLite controller with the Alesis I/O. We've gotten a lot of studios and a lot of individuals that are using the VisuLite controller and the I/O for software application. So we're going to go ahead and get into that and take a look at the setup and hopefully answer you guys' questions. Before we get started, let's take a look at the back of the I/O and make sure that everything's hooked up in the proper place using the right cables. Okay, to the far right, it says hi-hat. That's where you're going to plug in the actual controller, the black box, the VisuLite controller, and it uses a stereo cable. Okay, across at input number 3, that's where your actual symbols plug in. Depending on what model symbol you're using, what brand, the majority of them are single zone and use a mono cable. Okay, so just remember number 3 is for the symbol, and over here where it says hi-hat to the far right, that's where the actual controller plugs in using a stereo cable. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at actually how to set the controller up on your hi-hat stand. Now it comes with this little handy dandy Okay, let's take a look at how to actually set the control box up on your hi-hat stand. Now it comes with this little diamond clamp, and that's either going to clamp to the chain of your hi-hat control pedal, or if it's like mine, if it's direct pull, you're going to connect it to the pull rod. This is actually a Gibraltar stand. Now you'll notice that the eye bolt screws into the front of it, and then the spring is actually held onto the eye bolt, and then out of the bottom of the black box is your cable, and it comes down to the spring. Now when you put this on your stand, you want to go ahead and snug up the box so that it's not just sliding up and down on its own, it's not flopping around, but you do want it to be loose enough where you can slide it up and down the shaft of the hi-hat stand. Now what I suggest first is to adjust the throw of your cymbals. Go ahead and set those to however you normally set up your acoustic hi-hat cymbals. I like mine to be relatively close together so that I get a nice wash when they're open, but you may like yours 2 or 3 inches apart, but set those up how you normally would. Now what you're going to do next is you're going to adjust the closed position. So we're going to hold the pedal down, and you actually notice mine's set now, so I'm going to go ahead and lower it like you would if you were just starting off. Okay, you'll notice that my springs kind of lay in a little bit loose, and as I suggested earlier, you want a little bit of tension so that it doesn't actually come apart. Now I'm holding the pedal closed with my foot, and you'll notice when I pull down on the cable, I start to get a little bit of a hi-hat sound. Okay, now normally that's what we would want to happen when we step on the pedal, but since I don't have it adjusted yet, I'm just doing that to show you what you should be listening for. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this box up slowly, still holding the pedal closed, and I'm going to look for just a little bit of tension on this spring. Okay, so it slowly starts to pull apart. Now you don't want a drastic, obviously you don't want to see a lot of pull, but just a little bit of tension on that spring, because that indicates that you've pulled this wire all the way out. Okay, now once you've got that set to that position, when you release it, it's actually going to send the message to the I/O that it's been released, where you can suggest or select another MIDI note number. Okay, now you'll notice I've already got my pedal sound assigned. So you notice as I push down on this pedal, that I do get that close sound. Now for my program, I'm using Superior 2.0, and the pedal sound is 44 for this setup. Now if you have a hi-hat box with this knob on it, okay, you'll notice as I move it around, I start to get that closed sound also. Now make sure you have it wide open. Okay. Now also make sure you're using a stereo cable to the control box. So the sound you're hearing right now is strictly from the pedal. I don't even have the hi-hat cymbals plugged in at this point. Okay, now that we've got that box in place, let's take a look at the hi-hats without them being plugged in. I'll tell you the hats themselves are still not plugged in. They're not actually making any sound at all as far as a trigger. This is just the control box. Okay, and I have that set up. It's going to be note number 44, which is general MIDI for the hi-hat pedal. Now that may be different depending on what software you're using. You'll have to look at your MIDI map in your software to see what they have that set to for your particular software. I'm using Superior 2.0, and it's general MIDI. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the hi-hat. Okay, my cymbals are plugged in, so let's go ahead and take a look at the actual trigger I/O and look at the settings. Okay, to get to the MIDI note, we're going to use the function button, and I'm just going to scroll down to the trigger MIDI note number. Okay, like I was saying, the foot pedal is 44, and to set those other settings, I'm going to hold the foot pedal down to start off with and just tap the cymbals. Okay, you'll notice 42 shows up. Now you change that using the value button. Watch what happens when I change that. So you want to make sure you have the right note selected. Okay, now I'm going to let go of the pedal. Okay, for my software, number 46 is giving me my open sound. Okay, now once you've got those proper notes selected, again, close to your open. You're going to go over to function, and you're going to function back up to kit. Make sure you save that setting. That covers the setup for the VisuLite controller when used with the Alesis Trigger I. Now remember, if you have specific questions that pertain to the software, you need to contact the manufacturer of the software that you're using. I know TuneTrack, who manufactures Superior and Superior 2.0, as well as Easy Drummer, and F Expansion that manufactures BFD Lite, BFD, and BFD 2. All of those companies, they're very popular software, and they have great tech support. They're really quick at getting you guys taken care of. But if you do have any questions pertaining to the VisuLite controller, feel free to send us an email or join us online on the Pintech forum. You can access it through Pintech's website, pintechworld.com. Till then, take care and keep drumming.